Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello, I am Jayanto Chatterjee, a professor at IIT Kanpur, and today we are at the last session of the first week discussing management of new products and services. As you know, so far we have discussed that products are multi-layered bundles of goods and services, different blends. Some may be more towards goods, some may be more towards services, and the most important way of creating this bundle of goods and services is to focus on customer value proposition by way of understanding that customers are neither looking for goods nor services. They are looking for need fulfillment, they are looking for resolution of some pains, meeting some wants, and in the process if you can create some gains, then you have a better chance of success. So, pain and gain, need fulfillment of the customer, doing a job which the customers want to get done are the key functions that must be offered by successful products. We have discussed how successful products are created, why products fail, and we have also discussed how different strategies of organization must synchronize with different product strategic approaches. We have also discussed how product features, product constructs, production processes must look at the industry life cycle and the product life cycle to make a valuable or valued offering. Today we are going to discuss, that means the first set of concepts you can call it as CVP, customer value proposition. From there we are coming to another very important aspect of marketing, which is STP, segmentation, targeting and positioning. Because as we have discussed, a bundle of goods and services, a product often will not be everything for everybody, but we have to actually focus on sub-segments of the total universe of markets at various stages of the product management. So, sometimes we call it TAM 1 and TAM 2. TAM 1 stands for total addressable market, that means the whole universe. So, if you are making soap and you are creating a herbal soap, it will appeal to all Indian customers theoretically, because it is a green product, natural product, less chemicals, not harsh on skin and so on. But to start with, you may actually start where you are located, which is logistically, geographically more accessible to you. So, you may start in South India where you are located, your plant is located, you have better market access. So, this focus on South India is a way of segmentation, and in that case we call that as TAM2 or total addressed market. So, total addressed market is a subsection of the total addressable market, and that is one approach. This geographical approach is one way of creating a segment. So, a market segmentation is basically subdividing a market into some distinct basket because of maybe resource constraint, because of appeal, that it may be very appealing to young customers, or it may be very appealing to senior citizens. So, if you are making a walking stick for with different features, then you have to understand that this is primarily meant for senior citizens. On the other hand, if you are making a walking stick for people who have broken their legs or have had some fracture, so then you are actually addressing a different market. So, that where the segmentation will tell you how to design the product, how to create a bundle of features that will be appealing. So, segments are members who are different from other segments, but they are same within that segment. So, we call it that therefore, a segment is a part of a heterogeneous market, but within the segment we say that it is a homogeneous entity based on the way you define that segment. So, differentiating your product and concentrating your marketing efforts to meet the needs of different segments, that is applying the marketing concept to market segmentation. Now, there are some primary characteristics of segments, like there can be a base and descriptor. So, for example, it can be business market versus consumer market. In business market, the base segments could be by industry. So, therefore, you might be producing say gears, and the gears depending on size and various types of other features could be meant for cement industry. There could be another set of gears meant for the steel industry, there could be another set of gears which will be meant for food processing industry. So, you see, therefore, there can be market segmentation by way of industry, or you could actually produce products which are mainly for very large organizations or mainly for very small organizations. So, that is deciding the market segmentation by way of addressed customer sizes. Similarly, it could be location, as we just now discussed, due to your starting point or resource constraint or your access to market channels and so on, or it could be by organization structure, that you are actually only addressing the public sector markets for various reasons. Like for example, most public sector purchases are made through a tendering, open tendering process, whereas private sector often actually buys through negotiated agreements. So, you may be more comfortable with negotiated agreements and you may decide to go for that, or you may be more comfortable with open tenders. So, you may go for government organizations, public sector organizations. So, that is another way of segmenting your marketing effort. On the other side, on the consumer market, you can divide the consumers by age and income, by education, by profession, by their lifestyle, by their media habits and so on. But some segmentation strategies are relevant for a particular product, and some may be totally irrelevant. So, you can therefore see that this segmentation strategy must also be derived out of the nature of the goods or service bundle that you are offering. So, if you are offering actually some very high speed and high capable computer, your segment may be the gaming, people who are interested in various kinds of computer based games. So, for them when you design the computer, then that computer may not be appealing for a housewife who may be just using it for communication purpose and for some simple computing chores. The macro segmentation concept is kind of where you start. It's the first cut segment, which is like industry, like as I discussed, cement, steel, etc. It could be by way of application, that it is a gear which is suitable for rolling type of application, or it is a gear which is suitable for lifting, that means lift and hoist and crane type of application, or firm size. So, this is, you can just say, first cut, very high level segmentation. Then you can go to the second stage, which we call micro segmentation, where we go into the details and nitty gritties of customers' needs and wants and values and lifestyles, etc. The important point is both macro and micro are useful techniques for B2C markets, that means business to consumer markets, as well as B2B, that means industrial business to business markets. And there can be overlaps between segments, like here you see geographically segmented. So, we had looked at the mountain area or the desert area or the Gangetic plains. We are looking at here the market segmentation for solar water heaters. Now, solar water heaters are good solutions for distant mountains where electricity may not be available all the time, and it may be bright sunshine. So, you may solar water heater. In desert area there is lot of sunshine. So, now here you see depending on the market segment. So, if you are actually going in for a mountain area, then it will be more for domestic use or for small plants. So, you will be looking at small water heaters, but in the desert you may actually create a solar plant, a bigger size, where they can actually generate electricity which can then be transmitted, because you can have a large size what we call solar power stations, which are now coming up, because in the desert you have plentiful sun almost around the year. So, one will be then more geared towards the mountain area, will be more geared towards a B2C type of segmentation, and in the desert area it will be more B2B type of segmentation. Or there could be Gangetic plains, that means cities around the Ganges, where we have many of our major cities located. Now, there in that application it will be more rooftop urban application, another type of design will be needed, another size will be needed. And the key point here also is that there may be overlaps in these. That means somewhere there may be a large solar plant needed in a metropolitan area as a backup to fossil fuel based, because we are now trying to reduce our dependence on fossil fuel. So, there are a number of these power stations, solar power stations, that are coming up in different areas as an alternate mode or a preferred mode when sunshine is available. So, segmentation can be geographical, where there can be overlap, just as there can be overlap in other kinds of segmentation. The key point here is, of course, that you have to look at the factor whether it is relevant, whether it gives us some rationale of characterizing the type of customers who will be attracted to our offering, our bundle of goods and services. So, for example, for the solar water heater or for solar electricity system, segmenting customers by way of their education does not make any sense. So, that will be an irrelevant segmentation. So, though age, education, the income level, the funds available, all these are different kinds of segmentation, not all apply to all cases, that is the key point. And so we can summarize this whole thing, these variables to segment and describe the market if you go one by one from the on the left hand column. So there can be base segmentation, then there can be segmentation based on demographic, which is age, income, etc., or in the case of the industrial market it will be based on industry size, location, industry class and so on. It can be based on psychographics. Psychographics means it can be based on lifestyles and values and personal characteristics, and this I think topic we will also discuss a little bit more when we take up consumer behavior and customer behavior with respect to product buying processes. But at this stage let us point out that just like demographic is one way of segregation, psychographic, that means different psychological types, and the psychological types can be defined by this lifestyle. That means a psychographic will be typical, will be like young, urban, upwardly mobile male. So it immediately tells us that we are borrowing from the age based, we are borrowing from the lifestyle and disposable income base, we are borrowing from the ideas that relate to a particular professional profile. All those put together gives us a certain kind of psychology, and there are always exceptions. Please understand that the segmentations are done for kind of an average approach, but at certain stage we may have to become lot more precise. Then at that stage we will be getting into what we call the focus area. So within a segment there can be again very niche segments that which may needed at the later stage of the product life cycle, as we discussed earlier. And then of course it could be by way of decision making unit. So if you are in refrigerator marketing, your product is a consumer durable, high value consumer durable like a large TV or an air conditioner or refrigerator. Please understand that even though it is a consumer product, the buying decision may involve the children, may involve the husband, the wife, because you know it is a something that everybody will be looking at. So, or for example, car is much a better example. A car buying decision these days will often be influenced by your children or by your spouse. So, it becomes an entire family decision. So, this is what we call by segmenting by way of decision making. So, when you are actually creating your marketing promotion for this kind of product, you have to understand that your promotion must have something to say for all the different members in the decision making unit, as we call it. The decision making unit is a much more powerful concept when it comes to B2B products. There actually we have to look at the finance department, the operations department, the marketing department. In fact, in case of industrial products, different functionalities become more important, because there actually the decision making happens over a longer span of time, and different disciplines play different roles at different points of the purchase cycle. But if you think of the car, then you will see that why today in advertisements on TV for cars you often see children being highlighted and their safety being highlighted, or the size of the car where the whole family can travel together including the dog, that particular feature is highlighted, because you are trying to appeal to a complex decision making unit comprising of different value sets. So, this is another way of understanding the market segmentation, that they are actually, it is the same product which has one set of appeals for the senior citizens, one set of appeals for the young couple, one set of proposition for the young children, and you have to make a blend depending on what price point you are aiming at, what size your car offers, and so on and so forth. And then of course, there are the way of your promotion strategy will depend on your media partners and so on, and that will also have an influence on your segmentation strategy. This particular slide, this particular set of points you should study slowly, deeply, and if you have any question, please post them on the forum and we will respond back to you if any point is not very clear. Okay. Concluding point on segmentation is from Ted Levitt, whose name I mentioned in one of the earlier session, a marketing guru who was actually who have written some very highly influential marketing books and papers which are relevant even today. He is the person who introduced the concept of marketing myopia. Similarly, here he says that if you are not thinking segmentation, then you are not thinking like a marketer at all, because customers are different in different segments, and you must therefore understand to whom you are appealing and what choices are you are offering, and that will, without that, marketing is often incomplete, irrelevant or insufficient and bound to fail. So, segmentation as a business strategy, product segmentation as a business strategy means, therefore, you first define which subset of customers you are going to approach, and this may expand, like you can start with South India, but you can next target Eastern India, then you can go to West, you can cover at one from TAM 1, that is total addressed market, you can try to cover the entire range universe of total addressable market. So, segmentation is an evolving concept. You start somewhere and then you add segment by segment in some products. In some products you may just remain in one particular type of segment. So, like for example, if you are making watches, wrist watches, then initially you may start with one segmentation, that you are actually making watches for women, fashion watches, and then you may actually add watches for men, and then you can actually create watches, as you can see the entire range of Titan, for example, a major watch manufacturer now in India, and you will see that they have one segmentation for women, one segmentation for men, they have segmentation for young trendy men, they have segmentation for senior citizens, and then you can actually also create another set of products to address the segment who are people who are regularly go to gyms and they exercise and play games, etc. That is meant more active young citizens. You can actually create something like a smart watch for senior citizens to measure who wants to keep track of the calories they are consuming, the number of steps they have walked during the day, and their sleep pattern and so on. So, again it is watch, but aimed at a different segment, and you can start somewhere and then you can keep on adding. You can expand therefore segment by segment, and each time therefore you are targeting a different segment, and that is how you are expanding your market. But sometimes you can be somebody like say Omega or Rolex, and you make watches which are maybe 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 rupees in price. Now, there obviously your segmentation is narrow, therefore, there may be some segmentation by way of male customers and female customers, but you are at a high value niche. So, therefore, you remain in a smaller segment for all time to come, because that is how you have what we call positioned your product. So, positioning is a kind of a quite related concept of customer value proposition, which we have been discussing in the earlier part of this week. So, customer value proposition, from there the positioning comes. The bundle of options, values, etc., that you have embedded in your goods and service combination will determine the positioning that you can validly take. So, a Rolex watch cannot be positioned for people whose disposable income per month will be say 20,000 rupees, because the Rolex watch will be meant for people whose disposable income may be 100,000 rupees per month, right. So, positioning therefore depends on your value proposition, your bundle of features, attributes in the product, your solution to a particular need. So, a Rolex watch is not only for measuring time, whereas a 600 rupees worth Titan is primarily meant for showing the time, but a Rolex watch is a timepiece, it is jewelry, it is a fashion statement, it is an achievement statement, it is a lifestyle statement, so many things. And these bundle of tangible and intangible values will tell you that what positioning is valid, and therefore, that will tell you what segmentation is valid and will tell you how to target that segment. Targeting of course means also how to get to your segment. So, therefore, concepts like market, channel and distribution strategies, etc., will come to fore. So, that is kind of a summary of segmentation, targeting, positioning as business strategy. In the next session, we will discuss some deeper aspects about segmentation and some deeper aspect of positioning and so on. At this moment, we therefore end with the key concepts of STP, segmentation, targeting and positioning.